morning. Report is on page 13, a little bit on 14, the top. I try to be concise in my reporting because when things are complicated, I try to, you've got to make it easy to understand, so I like to use bullet points. Anyway, primarily I've been focused on water and primarily on the Nechako and Alcan file. What we're trying to do on that file is negotiate governance and a governance change in the agreement, because currently BC and Alcan and Canada control that river. And until we have some control of it, and we're negotiating with BC, we haven't started with Canada. Bless you, who's sneezing. We're prepped up to discuss these issues with Canada, but we've been doing exploratory works with British Columbia. And on January 7th, what happened with the court is we now have rights, fishing rights. We're the only First Nation community that have legally won fishing rights in BC out of the 203 bands, Stalako and Stoney. We've had a tremendous support from the Union of BC Indian Chiefs, the AFN, as well as the Summit in support resolutions for the court, as well as for water in general and our two communities in particular. For British Columbia, I've presented to those councils and those leadership to gain that support. Some of them may be intervening on our appeal. So the elements that we've been discussing and wanting to change for the Nechako is to have governance, so we will sit at the table and talk about how much water is required for our fish and have jurisdiction about how much can come on April 1st, and hopefully we can change the story of our sockeye, because we've been in decline for over 30 years. I've been fishing up at Tatuk for that kokanee because they said to try to conserve salmon. So we've been talking about having an adaptive management process, and truthfully, in our pilot from last year as well as this year, we're actually doing adaptive management. They just haven't clued in yet. We are working, and we have a draft monitoring framework that will assist in the biology for that river, because we're not worried about humans, we're worried about our fish, our animals, and the birds that require that water. So we're pushing for a spring freshet, a proper flow, a flushing flow is what we're calling it, that's more natural, that our various wildlife and fish species will be able to use better. Sometimes because of this flushing flow, we're having to deal with Vanderhoof and flooding issues. So we've been in discussions with Vanderhoof, and there will be a flooding report presented to them at some point as soon as Alcan agrees to release the report to them. It's been done. There are plans for remediation and restoration projects. I wish I had my pictures behind me, but I would show you pictures of the canary reed grass that are being spread right in the river by cows. Maybe Cassandra has good pictures of it too. Our monitors have been trained on boats and running, and we've purchased a boat. So we're doing water monitoring on that river. That's never been done before by either Canada or BC or Alcan. We now have information for 2 years. It's going to be second year. And all of the information will help make better decisions about the river in the future. It might take a bit of time, but at some time in the future, our people will get more fish. I'm also sitting with DFO and working on a hatchery for salmon to be located below Chislata Falls, near Chislata Falls. Chris didn't talk about NE2, but NE2, or the Kenny Dam Water Release Facility, is also a related project, infrastructure project we are promoting, so we can get more water in the river and quit flooding the Chislata Grave system and Murray system that they're dealing with. Thankfully, Mike Robertson brought us on a helicopter tour, and you can see it from the air when it was high flow, 400 cubic meters per second going through a river system that used to do 10. So that's the inundation that's happening on that system, and it's doing a lot of biological damage and has been for decades. So we're going to, as well as our own territory, insist that Chislata be looked after as well, because we can't ask for more water by damaging them. We want to help our neighbors as well. So those are some of the infrastructure projects that we're talking about at the table. The court case is still going on. We're going to be putting in the appeal in December. There are a whole bunch of interveners wanting to get involved and support us. Sometimes it's to support us, sometimes it's to support themselves on our back. They ride our coattails for their own agenda, so we have to carefully manipulate and negotiate who we want to support us. So we haven't had that talk yet, but it's coming in the next couple of months, because when the papers go in December, then the clock starts. The clock started already. We've informed Canada and BC we will be appealing, and so they know. And I think that's about all. I also will keep updating the community. I'm so glad to see we can finally have a little get-together and not be isolated so much now. What else? So I sit on a few boards. I got put back into Pignata, so I'll be there for 3 years, trying to get more money from the federal government for education and training. And what that entails is at least one trip to Ottawa once a year, and then wherever they ask you to go. That's my commitment to Pignata. And on a more personal note, yeah, I've been not well, and so I won't be running for council, but I will want to thank everybody for your support.